every single day. We've done this for a few days now. We're going to run through it. We've already done the AFC East, the NFC North, and the AFC West. So you're going back into the National Football Conference today. TJ Jefferson, you have a list, in your estimation, of the best player in the history of all the franchises in the NFC South. I will give you the floor, TJ Jefferson.
This was tough, man. I'm giving myself an ulcer trying to come up with this list because I feel some of the fans of these teams are going to not love this. But I feel like you can't argue that if you make your picks, these guys should be on there.
I think you should just make a stand. I think you should say what you say in confidence, and to heck with all the haters.
All right. Say it with the chest.
So here we go.
TJ.
We're just going to reel them off, and then we'll talk about them like you like. With the Falcons, I went with Deion Sanders. With the Carolina Panthers, I went with Sam Mills. With the New Orleans Saints, I went with Drew Brees. And with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I went with Derrick Brooks. As the greatest players in franchise history.
Okay.
And it was tough, man. This was tough.
Chris Brockman, your brow is furrowed. What do you got? What do you have an issue with? Obviously, Brees is the old no-brainer for the Saints.
I would think so.
With all due respect, it's definitely not Deion Sanders. Like, Matt Ryan is easily the best player in the history of the Falcons.
Wow.
He won an MVP. He had him on the precipice of a Super Bowl. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame. Everyone's going to associate him with the Falcons. It's easily Matt Ryan.
I will push back heavily, sir. There's a whole stadium that got built due to Deion's popularity. The Georgia Dome was a house that Deion built. He
played
5 years.
5 years with the team.
No, I get it.
He's not the best player in the history of the Falcons.
But here's just my thinking on that, right? Because you could go, if I'm an old school Falcons fan, I could say someone like Jeff Van Note, played 18 years, a tremendous offensive lineman. You're going to get some Falcons fans saying he's the greatest. But for me, it goes back to this. When you talk about the greatest at their position, Deion Sanders' name is always at the greatest at the position of cornerback. Therefore, when it comes to the team that everyone got to know Deion Sanders from, when you think of the Atlanta Falcons, people of a certain age think of primetime.
He took him from Fulton County Stadium to the Georgia Dome, and gave an incredible amount of juice and popularity to a franchise that was beyond downtrodden. And I understand Matt Ryan took a team to a Super Bowl, and he does have the quarterback records. But
he was MVP of the whole league.
I get it. I totally understand it. You'll say Matt Ryan is the greatest player in the history of the Atlanta Falcons.
You guys are way off on this one.
All right. What's up with Sam Mills? What'd you think about that one?
Okay, Sam Mills. This was
I thought you were going to say Steve Smith.
I had Steve.
You could even say Cam Newton too. Under your Chris Brockman.
He went to the Super Bowl.
Went to the Super Bowl and MVP, and Cam Newton holds a bunch of records at the position for the Carolina Panthers.
And I had.
And if you say Matt Ryan, if that makes Matt Ryan the greatest player in the history of the Atlanta Falcons,
longevity.
Understood longevity is part of that Cam didn't have there.
And I realized the reason I did this with Sam, because I got a lot of people saying that I should have had Bo Jackson for the Raiders, and my argument was Bo only played 38 games for the Raiders. Now, Sam Mills, way too many greats. Now, the reason I had Steve Smith Sr. until about 40 minutes before showtime today. But reading the comments from the other ones of these that we've done, I see a lot of old school fans, and I kind of take into consideration what they feel. And I just think like a Carolina Panther fan would have Sam Mills in there for what he brought to the team.
Keep pounding, man.
That was
part
his
of this.
logo.
That was it.
He came up with that. A lot of people looked at Sam Mills like he was the heart and soul of the Carolina Panthers. I like I said, I had Steve Smith Sr. initially.
Yes.
The very last minute, I changed it to Sam Mills. Obviously, Luke Kuechly could have gone in there. Cam could have gone in there.
Sam Mills only played 3 years with the Panthers.
Well, in that respect, then why isn't Tom Brady the greatest player in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Well, according to TJ's logic,
won a Super Bowl for them, right? Brad Johnson's the only other human being to say I won a Super Bowl for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No, I think you have to spend at least 5 years, the amount of time that Deion spent with Atlanta.
See, I would have had Sam Mills as the greatest player in the history of the Saints.
I feel like
Drew Brees.
History will look at it and say Drew Brees may have saved football down there with that Super Bowl.
Drew Brees is the greatest player in the history of the New Orleans Saints, and there's no argument about it.
But Sam Mills can't be the greatest player in the history of the Panthers. He was only there. Then why isn't Kevin Green?
Again, it was me thinking like a Carolina Panther fan and thinking what a long time, obviously they've only been around since, 95, 96, but he was the heart and soul of that franchise.
This
when it first
division,
For
started.
3 seasons?
This division has
Yeah.
caused quite a bit of a conundrum for this endeavors. Because you have to wonder longevity with the franchise or longevity period, success with the franchise. Derrick Brooks is a great name
Brooks,
to
I
throw
think we
out
can
there
all agree on.
for the Tampa Bay
it
Buccaneers.
came down between Sapp and Brooks, and be very honest with you with their longevity. I gave it to Brooks. And
That's
like
it, but you
again,
can't
the
go
Sam
wrong
Mills,
with that
Can't go
one.
wrong.
The
That's
Sam
a
Mills thing,
nail.
I'll accept any pushback from that. But it was just like me trying to put myself in the.
Are you speaking
the
on
mind of the
behalf of
Panthers fan.
Sarah, being
What?
being an Atlanta Falcon person, or you're like?
No, I mean, I
Okay.
just think it's not even an argument. You got a guy who's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's going to have a lot
Matt
of
Ryan's going to the Hall of Fame?
for sure.
Well, Deion Sanders is currently in the Hall of Fame.
Matt Ryan has played 3 times as long as Dion did with the same franchise.
That's fine. Did Matt Ryan have the no? Like again, I'm not here to like argue these points. I'm just placing them on the table.
I'm blown away by the Sam Mills thing and not being Steve Smith, to be honest.
Again, I thought I did a good job explaining that. It was Steve Smith.
How is Steve Smith not the embodiment of what it means to be a Panther?
Again, you're not reading the comments. I'm reading the comments. I'm thinking of what
Well, there you go.
Carolina
All right,
Panthers fans
I don't
might
know why
say.
you're trying to please them. I mean, this is
Why
your,
not?
this
Because
is your list.
it's my list, but it's not my team. Therefore, I'm not gonna I'm giving you my opinion, but at the end of the day, if someone wants to come to me and say I'm wrong, I will not argue.
So
with them.
give me your list.
I'm putting
so
up a
give me your
poll here.
give me
Hold
no
on,
no
I'm
no.
putting
Let's
up
put
a
up a
poll.
poll. We're going to post this video and we will invite the comments.
The comments
certainly.
will be there.
So what's your list? Your list would be Matt Ryan, Steve Smith Sr.,
Drew Brees,
and Derrick Brooks?
Flip a coin, Derrick Brooks in '99. Yeah.
Yeah, I would swap out Steve Smith for Sam
Again,
Mills.
no problem.
That's what I would do, and
but
then
you
I'd keep the rest the same.
You saw what I was thinking.
I mean,
Again, it
Deion,
was Steve Smith until
I don't
this
know,
morning.
man. I've walked around Atlanta with Deion Sanders, and it's just like, the Red Sea's part.
I got to think a lot of people probably associate Dion as a cowboy.
I do.
I maybe that's a different era. I don't know. Dion.
Yeah.
I mean, what Dion did with the Atlanta Braves and the Falcons at the same time is just something that's in the history of the sports town. It's one of the most incredible feats. Good list. Leads
Thank
to
you.
a conversation.
That's
Julio
what we
Jones
want.
is a better Falcon than
Who?
than Dion.
Who?
Julio
Okay.
Jones.
I'll accept the Sam Mills thing, but now you're getting a little crazy here, bro.